What's up, YouTube? We're back out here for part 3 of our Saddle Hunting 101. So if you missed parts 1 and part 2, I'll put a link right up here. Check that out. So we did a gear dump with single stick climb. So we're going to pick up with part 3 right where we left off after climbing. So we're up on our stick, we're at climbing height. We're going to go through the whole setup of the tree, how I set everything up, from setting the platform to where I set my camera, everything. So stay tuned. Alright, just for ease of video, I got my stick set just basically right off the ground. I'm going to work off of this. So as you watch the video, I'm standing close to the ground, but I am on my stick, so everything's working just like it would if I was hunting for real, okay? Alright, so let's say we're at our height that we decided that we want to hunt at. I'm on my tether. I'm standing on the bottom step of my stick. So at this point, I'm where I want to be. So the next thing I'm going to do is set my platform. So the first thing I'm going to do, 7/64 daisy chain that I keep in my right pouch. I'm gonna go ahead and set that around the tree. I'm gonna pretty much just set that almost as high as I can so that it's under my tether. For what I like to do, I'm gonna girth it, and I'm putting the tail at my 3 o'clock. So it looks like that. So the tail's hanging at 3 o'clock, it's right underneath my tether. So now I can take my pack off. The carabiner that's on top of my pack, we're going to use to hang on the tail. So now my pack's hanging at 3 o'clock. It's off me. I don't have anything on me. Nothing's hanging on me anymore. So my Ridge Runner platform is on the outside of the pack. So we'll open up. We'll grab the strap that I need for that, and I'm going to take it off my pack. There's several different options on this. It depends on what I wanted, what I set. Sometimes I will set this directly in front of me. Sometimes I'm going to set it off to the side. It just kind of depends. What I found probably to be the easiest thing to do is set the Ridge Runner in my lap so it looks like that, so that I'm hands-free. So we work the strap around the tree. Go ahead and hook the standoffs. And kind of make a decision on where we want this thing. So I'm just going to set it off to the side just a little bit. Tight, up, cam, and it's solid. It's rock solid at that point. The Ridge Runner has been great to me this year. I have no issues. It cams over first time, every time. It's always just good to go. So that's set. Our pack's hung. We're ready to step up on the platform. All right, so we're just going to step up, top step of the stick, taking the slack out of our rope as we go. I'm stepping onto the platform, and I'm going to make sure all the slack's out of my rope before I commit. Okay. So now I'm on the Ridge Runner. My weight's on it, it's good to go, everything's set up on it. So once I'm committed to that, I might put a little bit of slack in this rope just so I can adjust it, and I'm gonna go ahead and bring my tether up and get it up where it belongs. Tether height is something that's very dependent upon every person and what they like. So we'll go over that in the next video, I think, and to go over tether height and how people like that and what I think is comfortable. All right, so we get our tether up to where we want it. Personally, I'm like a chin to Adam's apple. It's kind of my tether height for me. I know that's low for a lot of people. That's what I find works for me. So once I get that set, I'm gonna go ahead and take that daisy chain, the Amsteel daisy chain that I had as my gear hanger. I'm gonna go ahead and scoot it up just a little bit to get it kind of where I want it. Reposition my pack so it's at 3 o'clock what I want. Next thing I'm gonna do is on my right side pouch again, I've got the Hero clip and a little small night ice. The night ice is going to go right in front of me. While the Hero clip's going to come over here. The Hero clip's going to go over here to my 9 o'clock. Well, the night ice is right in front of me. So that's going to be my bow hanger. So once I've got those hooked up where I want them, the next thing I'm interested in doing is getting my bow up so that if anything would happen while I'm setting up, I can get my bow up here. So I pull out my paracord. I usually don't leave it, but I'm going to temporarily just hook it like that so I have it. and there's 30 foot here, but I'm going to drop that down. Remember, I've got that ratchet strap style hook on the bottom of that, so I'm going to lower that down and actually just put it in between the cables of my bow, find my bow, and I'll just pull my bow up like that. And then once I have it up, I can unhook it. I'll hook that for a second, so we'll deal with that. And at that time, I can go ahead and hang my bow on my hero clip. Now my bow is up with me, get an arrow in it, get it knocked, so everything's ready. So I can continue on with the rest of my final adjustments, setting my camera base and all that stuff. I can do all that as I please, and I usually do that slow and quietly. So my bow is set up. That's the first thing I'm worried about, is having that up here. So if while I'm going through the motions of getting everything else set up, an animal walks in, I've got everything ready to roll. Release is on there, everything's ready to go. The paracord is just going to get wrapped up and put back. Remember, we'll need that to lower our bow down at the end of the night and then retrieve our rope. So for now, I'm going to drop it because we don't need it for the rest of what we're doing today. Okay, so pack's there, bow's there, rangefinder can go in this little clip here, rattling antlers, whatever else you might like. Okay, my quiver, I usually always take my quiver off and I'll hang it on my right side right above my pack so my quiver's out of my way. So now we can kind of go through adjustments and get what we want, kind of get things set up. I've got my bridge still into a climbing method, so I will lengthen my bridge out, get it where I want it. For me, I run usually about 6 inches of bridge left, and then I run a pretty short tether. So that's just me. So right there is set. And that's honestly, that's about as quick and simple as you can make it. That's down and dirty. So I'm gonna flip the camera to the other side and we'll go through setup out of my pack. All right, so with the camera flipped around this side, we can work out of our pack now. So everything's set up. If an animal walked in, we're good to go. We can hunt, the bow and everything's set up. So for me, probably the next thing I'm gonna work on getting is camera set up so I can record. So everybody runs something different. I run a custom arm. This is something I made. I'm not 100% happy with it, and I'm really looking into building something new for the coming year. But for right now, this is what I use for the whole 2020 season. And it works. And you know, there's 2 self-film hunts on the channel, you'll see. So regardless of what camera arm you are running, you got to find a position in the tree. Regardless of what camera arm you do run, find a position in the tree that works for you. So for me, what I've found works really well is about hip height off to my right side, and it's just beside my pack. So my base is sitting right there. What do we want to call that? Maybe 5 o'clock? We'll call it 5 o'clock. So I mount the base there, and then I'll bring the arm out. And I don't have anything snugged up really well. And then my arm would go right there. So that's set. Let's call it by 5 o'clock. Our arm's ready. So we're pretty much everything's set up to go. We're ready to roll. The next thing I do, so I don't run knee pads, but I run a knee pad or not knee pads, but I'll just run this padding on the tree. So this is an old, just a cheap Walmart special seat that I cut in half, attach paracord to. So what I'll do with that is set it height-wise where I want it, and then I actually just tie it to my quick link. And I'll just tie it, just a real quick hitch on that so it holds. There's no weight to it, obviously. And then that's there for me when I want it. Once all that's set up, I do run, so I'm running the Safeguard. I'm running on Oplux, and yes, it's not rated for that. I do run a Prusik Safety above my Safeguard. So real quick, easy, I'm just using a hollow block for that. So we'll just do a 3 wraps. We'll dress our knot. And I'm just gonna come down to my Vener, hook that, and then tighten my Vener back down. So, and then we can set that up. So if for some reason there was a mechanical failure here, I've got a backup attachment to my tether. I don't really know that it's necessary, but it makes you feel warm and fuzzy just knowing you have a secondary attachment point. So that's how I set that up. That's how I run that. And then really lastly, the thing that I would do is I would get my recliner out. And if it's gonna be a long enough hunt that I want to run the recliner, I think we're gonna wait. We'll do that over the next video. We're gonna do comfort setup. So we'll just run the recliner on that. But that's pretty much my setup in the tree. That's kind of what it looks like. It's nothing. I normally take that very, very slowly. Once I've got my bow up, everything goes slow, and I'm scanning, watching the woods, and looking for things to happen, you know, while I'm setting up. So it's happened to me to have deer come in when I don't have the camera set up. It is what it is. I'm okay with that. So I try to do my best to get it on film, but sometimes it doesn't happen. So maybe that helps somebody. Maybe you see something you didn't know, or maybe it answers a question. Any comments, concerns, anything you got, drop them down below. I'll do my absolute best to answer those questions. Maybe make follow-up videos, to, you know, answer a question if that's what we need to do. And it's all about just helping each other out, I think. So the saddle hunting community is growing leaps and bounds, and I think we can all help each other, we can all learn from each other, and that's what it's all about. So click the subscribe button if you haven't already. I'd appreciate it, help grow the channel, and I'll see you on part 4. So just kind of a closing here. This is standing at the 6 o'clock, just showing you kind of what things look like. So there's the stick we came up, we set our platform up, knee pads hung right where it needs to be, backpack's over at the 3 o'clock, camera arms at the 5 o'clock, bows at the 9 o'clock, and then tether obviously is at the top. So hopefully that helps somebody.